What's the name, my people? You know it is a Don Tony Teflon. I'm back at you. Another one. I'm happy to let you all know that we are here to do this from Mega Stream with a whole bunch of popular YouTubers who cover this show. Happy to be here that they decided to come on here and rock with me tonight and rock with you, everybody. And y'all in the chat, we are simulcasting on everybody's channel who wanted to do that. So let me bring on my people. Phil will be here a little bit later. When Phil gets here, that's when we'll take phone calls. But until then, we'll just do what we do. Our first guest up is the one, the only real Enigma and Theories. What's going on? Why I even add you? You should be here.
Peace. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Wait, all right. I know what's going on. I gotta go like this. What's going on, brother? How's everything?
All is well. All is well. Yes, we good. This is a beautiful thing.
That's what's up. We also have the one, the only Jeremy of Ice and Fire in the building.
Welcome. Super honored to be here with the Don, Real, and all of the other leaders of the From fandom and the community. Thank you for having me, my friend. This is awesome what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you for joining, man. We got the one, the only E-Man is in the building rocking with us.
What's going on, family? How y'all doing?
That's what's up. And from the movie Blog, we got Anthony up in the building rocking with us.
Yep, what's good, people?
That's what's up. Thank you all for rocking with us. Thank you for everyone coming out here. And we're going to talk about this season 3. We're going to talk about predictions, some theories that people may have, and everything else. Again, we'll be taking all your questions that you have in there, super chats for whatever channel that you're on. You can throw those in there and stuff. We'll do that. And again, when Phil gets in here, we'll start taking live phone calls. And let's say what up to the people who are joining us right now. We got 60 plus ED in the building. Drunk Bishop up in the building. Carrie is up in the building. Nisha Rochelle is up in the building. I kind of love Epsy is up in here. Papa Socks is up in here. Never seen you before, Papa Socks. What's going on? Kimberly is up in here. Andrew West is up in here. T-ville 1 is up in here. Welcome to the dark side is up in this building. Mr. Leo G is up in here. We got a bunch of people in here. Sarah is up in here. Horror Fan is up here. Bitey is up in here. We got a bunch of people right off the bat. Thank you all for tuning in and everything. Let's go through it right now. We'll go across the board. Everyone can see. We'll go Real, Jeremy, then we'll go down E-Man and Anthony, and then we'll rotate back the other way. Probably be the easiest way. Who's in that goddamn car? Whose foot is that, man? Real.
I think, okay, so we're going to go me, Jeremy, Anthony, and E-Man. Okay, so me first. I think Miss Lou's foot is on the right, and it might be somebody else's foot on the left. I don't know. But I think that's Miss Lou's little tiny foot with some pancake batter on it, probably in the cart.
Jeremy?
Not to copy him, but yeah, I think Tien Chen might be one of them. And the reason why, I think Taryn kind of convinced me. He noticed something during that one scene in the trailer, the funeral scene when they're inside the church. He saw a plate. He described a plate that Ethan was kind of walking up to go lay a momentum to. And he tied it back to Tien Chen in some way. And I thought, okay, maybe this makes a little bit of sense. And then we look at the shoe. It could be very similar to her kind of diner waitress type shoe. I'm worried for Tien Chen, man.
That's what it is. E?
So my theory was that it's either Christy or it's Mrs. Lou. It's got to be somebody close to Kenny. Because I'm just going off of the trailer, right? Yep. Like in the trailer, we saw Kenny was throwing flowers and getting emotional. So those to me are the only two people, because clearly it was a female's voice when we heard it in the teaser. So I'm like, it's gotta be Christy or it's gotta be Mrs. Lou. So I'm gonna just put those two up there.
All right. Ant, what you thinking?
I was thinking kind of the same thing because, when you look at the trailer, we know that somebody got in the barn, and we know that there was somebody being carried through town at the wheelbarrow. We don't know if they're the same person. So I was up there with it being Christy or Mrs. Lou, but it could be both. But we do know that Kenny was real messed up in that trailer because they had that shot of him in the diner, like all hunched over in tears.
Yeah, I don't even see it being anyone else but Mrs. Lou. When you look at it, number one, Jade is pulling the cart with him. All right.
Yep.
So if you say Sarah or someone, Jay don't care about Sarah, that's like a form of honor. Like, I'm gonna pull this cart with you, boy. You know what I mean, boy? So it's got to be someone she care. Like, who does he care about more than Mrs. Lou? Besides Kenny, because he lived with them the whole time. That would get him emotional like that to pull that cart with it. So for that reason, I really got to push towards that. It's Mrs. Lou. Unfortunately, that it's going to be Mrs. Lou up in this piece that gets got and stuff. And you need an emotional pull right off the bat. We ain't get no major deaths last season. You know what I mean? Everyone escaped. Yeah. So I think that they got to start it off with a bang. Like, that's something that's going to hurt everybody watching. You know what I mean? If Sarah died, I think some people be like, oh, poor Sarah. Other people say, fuck Sarah. Right? Like Miss Lou, no, everyone gonna be like, man, that chick ain't did nothing to nobody.
Yeah, everybody loves her. Everybody loves her. And what worries me even more, I'm not sure how 100% accurate this is. Rotten Tomatoes has been sometimes accurate, sometimes not, but apparently they have uploaded the episode titles to season 3 already. And the first episode is titled When We Go, which is a huge callback to the conversation that Jade and Tien Chen had at the end of season 1 when Jade was explaining they come with you when you go. So that has me even worried about her.
Yeah, that's his exact word.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about that aspect.
And then Real, so we talked a little bit real quick about the voices. Real came up with a theory that I believe is true about the voices. Real, can you explain that theory real quick?
Which voices?
The voice in the barn.
Oh, okay. So the voice in the barn.
This.
Yeah, the voice in the barn is totally a sound bite from Kelly being pinned to the tree. The same screams that we hear in the teaser is a sound bite from season 2 when Boyd was pulling the rod out of Kelly's head. Now, there was something else that I just noticed today. In the teaser, when they were showing Boyd struggling with the slow walkers and they was grabbing him and pulling him along, what we got from that same shot, those same shots were unedited, un-CGI'd shots, which they went and then put the CGI in. So they were really screwing with our heads in the teaser. I'm gonna send you those 2 shots over because you'll see one of them. He doesn't have the scratch on his arm with the blood coming out his arm. And then you'll see the other one is the exact same shot with the blood coming out his arm and everything. I'll send that to you. I'll send that to you on Facebook. You can pull it up.
And I think that leads credence because if that is the case and they hid the voice, then that voice has to be so distinctive that they needed to hide it. And the Asian accent of her screaming would be that distinctive. And people might have guessed it why they would do something like that. So that Good also point. To me leads to that it's Tien Chen. Unfortunately, she's a really sweet lady. You know what I mean? And but I think she out of here.
I'm worried. I'm even more worried now.
Yeah, I think she's out of here and stuff. We talked about Tien Chen a little bit. And that's probably the biggest thing in the so we'll go. Let me just ask E-Man. We see these monsters. We see the cowboy monster. We see these guys that, like, stepping up their game. What do you think is the cause of this whole situation? Why they're having them, be more active than the way they used to be?
Oh, I think they're following the trend that they've already established, that these monsters will step it up, right? Like, we've seen them, or we've heard before that they used to scream and chase people, and now they walk, and now they slowly torture people, which the teaser is kind of showing that that's the case with whatever's going on in the barn. I think at this point, especially I think it was in the teaser as well, or maybe in the full trailer, we hear Boyd say it was an ambush. Well, who the hell's gonna ambush anything? So maybe now the monsters are setting traps. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it sounds like they're doing whatever they need to do because this is a game for them. Like, they enjoy it. They get kicks out of this, for whatever reason, whether it's trying to pretend to be human or trying to kill these folks or whatever. But this is something that they actually get pleasure out of. So I think that they are just finding more creative ways to if it's not just kill people, it's to torture them or make them, or break them, as we've also heard. I think it was the cowboy that said that. You said we can't break you, right? So it looks like they try and break folks.
It does. It does. And you mentioned playing games. And one thing that I thought was kind of interesting in the teaser is how there's that night scene where it seems like all the livestock is out of their cages. What if the monsters deliberately let out the livestock to lure them out of their house, knowing there's a food shortage and that is more valuable than ever? Maybe that draws them outside at night.
That would be devious.
The cows definitely.
The cow's out of its pen.
Out of the thing. I talked about that before. I was like, why is the cow in the woods at night? Like, why ain't that cow locked up like that?
And it's funny how the milkman monster of all the monsters goes up and kind of kills the cow.
100%. That seems like a great.
The proverbial milkman killing the cow is crazy.
Hey, that's
it's
perfect.
Funny.
It's poetic justice.
Yo, did you get those pictures I sent you, Tony?
I did that on my phone. I'll pull them up in a second for you, bro.
Okay.
I switch it over to my computer and all that good stuff.
Can we send stuff in the live chat, in the private chat? No,
not like that. I don't think you can send no saying. Yeah, y'all just jump in. Don't wait for me to call on you and stuff like that. If you got something to say, please say it. Anthony, what are you thinking about these monsters this season?
These monsters have been like, I kind of agree with the leveling up thing, because when you look back at the past behavior, every season they have a different pattern. Like season 1, they were just terrifying the hell out of people. Season 2, they started to play with their toys. They started to like pretend like you saw one of them get like behind the steering wheel of the bus and pretend like he was driving it. They started to really want to inhabit what it is to be the humans. Season 3, it seems like we're going to get a whole new level of monsters. I don't know what's going on, but it does seem like we're going to get into something bigger. I still wonder, like, if you look back at the previous seasons where they had all those drawings of some of the threats that happened to people that previously stayed in the town, I'm wondering, like, is it one of those things coming back, right? Like, is it going to be another reanimation of one of those previous threats coming out to a challenge to us when they reach this new level? So, like, I've been observing it, but I have a lot of ideas of where it could definitely go if they're continuing this theme that there's like previous rounds and things that can happen as things escalate.
Please tell us. Let's go.
I mean, like, we already seen, like, this was in Victor's drawings, there was like a flood, right? We seen that there was a flood. I think there was something about a giant spider. We've seen spider webs throughout at the end of season 1, but we haven't actually seen a giant spider yet. So, like, there's still like a whole bunch of other threats that I'm like waiting for them to pop out with as they go throughout the show.
Yeah, there will be a flood. I can guarantee. And me and Phil talked about this, and he just popped in. He'll be in a second. And he asked me, did I think it would be this season? I said, no, because that's going to be expensive, right? It's going to be expensive. It's going to be costly. That's an end game thing, the flood. They're going to do the winter thing now. And then the next thing I think is going to be a flood. And the reason why I think about it is that when Tabitha was in the cave with Victor and she was walking out and they were following the water to get out, she specifically looks down at the water and says, where is this water coming from? Like, it should not have been coming from that hill she was at. And to me, that makes me think that there's these people who control. I think that's when people get at a certain length. I think they flood the town, kill everybody, and then they start over with new people. And that's how they end the whole thing. Like, all right, we're going to flood this town, kill everybody out here. Let's get them out. Let's start the fuck over and start this experiment all over again. Because it made no sense for her to say, where is this water coming from? This is a throwaway line. And that's exactly what she looked down and said, and then followed it out. So it was unnatural. And that's why she said it. Like, this water should not have been coming out of there. So to me, I think that there's pipes and they flood it. And I think the Fatima monster, and I think that's how it's going to end for Fatima. People talking about Fatima. We'll talk about her right now. I think that's how it ends for her. I think that monster that we see is Fatima. I don't know if anyone else agrees. I think she's going to drown. And that's why that monster was trying to drown Elgin. And that may be how Elgin gets taken out in the end.
It did look very Fatima similar in terms of the hair length, the kimono, and just the very vibe of it. And you mentioned whatever's in control of this place might send a flood. And we have seen whatever is in control of this place, they have some very crazy control over it. We saw what they did to the Matthews house in just the Matthews house alone. So who knows what else they're capable of sending to the town.
Yeah, we've seen the weather change on a dime,
The
right?
storm, yep. The storm, yep.
Let me ask this. We'll go through this. Do y'all think that this could be some Truman Show type shit?
Oof.
That this could be some people in the control booth, and we all seen the Truman Show. Oh, send in the rain. Woo, send in this.
Yeah.
You think it
Yeah,
could be
I hear you on
not that it's a show and people watching on television, but the controlling
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
Could it be a
like
Truman
a
Show
cabin in
type
the woods type thing.
Yeah, like a cabin in the woods kind of thing, where something is being sacrificed to something, or they're creating this thing. Also, you have like the food items that Miss Lee. A lot of people were suspecting her tea of being some type of hallucinogen, and they had that in Cabin of the Woods. Tony, I was wondering if I could share my screen real quick. I have to share. I have a share screen. I just want to show the
Yeah,
people
go ahead.
on-
I think you have the
yeah,
ability.
you got to
to do
bring it on stage. I'm here.
that. They're right here. All right, my bad.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, so if you look at this picture on the left right here, the one I'm shaking around, this is from the teaser. And this picture is from the trailer. It's the exact same shot. So in the trailer, they weren't showing us about how Boyd's arm got injured. You could see where they put the CGI scratches and the blood splatters and stuff like that, the little special effects to the same shirt here. And I think that was to kind of throw us off, to make us think that maybe the blood that we saw on Boyd's shoulder was possibly from his gunshot wound, because that's the same shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also noticing that Boyd was holding his left arm, and that's the arm that he got shot. And a lot of people thought that that was his Parkinson's coming back, but the Parkinson's was had his right hand shaking. The hand that he rings the bell with was the one that was affected by the Parkinson. So yeah, they were really playing with us. You have these two images, the non-CGI with the CGI image. You could tell that's the exact same shot.
Yep.
How he has his mouth open and everything, but one has the CGI shoulder without it, and one has it with it, and also the sound bite that they use. So they were being very deceptive. So anything that you think from that trailer, that trailer is totally unreliable. The teaser is
first one?
totally right. The first teaser, that's totally unreliable. Just letting you
Well,
know.
you make a good point, because in the second trailer during this scene, you can't see it in the first one, but in the second trailer, if you pause it at just the right point, you can actually see a monster's arm clawing Boyd's shoulder. You can literally see the monster's arm on his shoulder in the second trailer, and it wasn't there in the first one. You couldn't see it in the first.
And this is right here. This is like the second frame from it right here. You see what I mean? This is the second frame from it. Now in the teaser, you do see the monster's hand move down. You do see the hand move down. Now, there's another thing that a lot of people were noticing is the blood stains on Boyd's shirt. And it looked like the letters VT. I think I'm gonna make a prediction that at some point during the torture scene, one of the monsters is just gonna come over there and straight up wipe their hands, the blood off their hands right on his shirt. That's what I think happens right there. And last prediction for that scene is, I think that whoever it is, I think it's Miss Lou, but whoever it is, we're going to see the slow walkers get busy for the first time. Like, we're going to actually see what they do, because they haven't shown us that in 2 seasons. So I think this is the season that they turn up. This is going to be the real turn up season.
All right. So you think that they will actually show them kill them, because they never show them kill them. They show, they always show them there, but you never actually see it. That they're gonna actually show them tearing, because that foot, that's Miss Lou, and we're talking that foot fucked up. Like the foot and they're hanging by a thread. Like they ripped this person apart. Like they're actually going to show that.
Yeah, I think they're gonna show. I think they're gonna show him pulling the foot off. I think they're gonna show them digging her guts out, like like she's just a pot of ice cream, and they just scooping out the middle like that. Like I think they're gonna do all that, and because we haven't seen that yet, and we also in a Comic-Con interview heard Harold and David say that they both said that this season gave them nightmares. So so I'm pretty sure that they seen some real crazy special effects.
Thank you for the super chat from downtown. Says, yo, all the From Review channels I watch at the same place, same time. Epic. Thank you. Hope we do a lot more of these. Hopefully we get together and we can do a lot more of these and keep this thing going and everything else and all that good stuff. All right, let's talk a little Fatima. Phil, I see you're not there yet. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but I absolutely like the fact that they're showing another Claw situation, because I guess the only person that we did see kind of get killed on screen was Father Cautry, but that's a very offshoot kind of death if you think about all the other deaths on the show, where the monster seemed a little bit different. It sort of quickly zerged and like got real quick and kind of reached out, almost seemed to have a Mr. Fantastic stretchy ability at a certain point in time too in that kill, or it was just a flash. So if the Freddy Krueger slice or just the claw aspect of it comes back in that next one, and that was a great breakdown of those two moments with Boyd. But I would love to see the slashing of some sort come back, and the Cautry death is an interesting one compared to all the other ones. It's almost like it was willed to happen, like it had to happen in some way.
No doubt about it. All right, let's talk Fatima. What's the predictions for Fatima? This season, I keep wanting to say Fatima, but I know it's Fatima. But Fatima predictions. Fatima. Anybody just go whoever you want.
I mean, like I've been calling it from the jump.
All right.
Demon Baby is on deck. Like,
yeah, it's not looking good.
We ain't never seen nobody pregnant in this place. There's nothing good that comes from this place. And I was talking to Pega during a interview. Shameless plug, go check out that interview,
please do.
But we were joking about it, and we was like, hey, what you think she gonna have? What do you think Fatima's gonna have? And she was, I mean, she's not confirming nothing, but she was also on board with the Demon Baby on deck. So that's the only conclusion I got right now.
Yeah, the Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Child situation happening.
Yes,
I think
Poltergeist, all of that.
100%. I think the biggest thing is, and I always say the wrong term. I say gestation period instead of incubation time. I think there's going to be a short incubation time as well. This isn't going to be a full 9 months. I think that's I think we will see the pregnancy, the gestation period.
Episode 4. Episode 4, baby's coming out.
100%. Before the halfway point of the season, that baby, that dream child, Freddy Krueger's kid, is popping out. I'm 100% with you on that one.
Yeah, she's not looking good, and we even have the very foreboding foreshadowing from Ellis in season 2, with him always having the thoughts of the baby being born with fangs and claws. It's like they're almost kind of telling us this is not going to be a normal pregnancy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, especially. I'm thinking accelerated pregnancy, and my theory is similar to the Demon Baby on deck. Like I'm with E-Man. Like I think that Donna got this girl pregnant, helped get this girl pregnant. I say like I say that she helped to get this girl pregnant. Like she healed her. She helped to heal Shorty, and then she got pregnant, and they're using that as a vessel to bring some entity to play. So that's what I think. I think that Donna's got some shit with her. She's giving Victor the peaches to erase his memory. And now that the peach is gone, we see shit coming back to him a little something. We see him acting a little different. He's being a little bit more forthcoming about details and shit. And then we also see people at Colony House healing. And I think maybe it took a whole year in Donna's gift for Fatima to be totally healed. And then she's pregnant. Now she's pregnant. And I think that Donna has been trying to facilitate a vessel. This is why she would advocate for Julie to separate from her family to come into the Colony House, maybe because she needed young, fertile women at this place so that she could facilitate a child for this demon or entity to come through. That's my vibe.
See what that?
The
You say
Donna Epstein theory is wild.
yeah.
Nah, that's the Donna Diddy. That's the Donna Diddy
The
theory.
Donna Diddy Epstein. Yo,
Tyler holding that dude
Yikes.
back in
Yo.
place like you ain't pulling out, boy. You doing?
Yeah.
They right up in there.
Yo, because I mean, think about it. Like the original script for From Colony House was supposed to be way wilder than that. I remember my brother Taryn Matheru telling me that Fatima, that scene where Ellis was painting Fatima and Boyd comes in, she was actually supposed to be naked in that scene. There's supposed to be a lot more drug usage and orgies and shit going on at Colony House. And they kind of alluded to that with, you have a family with young children sleeping on the floor, and 10 feet away, you got a couple having sex on the couch. So they kind of allude that Colony House is this wild place. And I just think it was toned down in the actual production. And so boom, there you go.
They got to make it marketable.
Yeah, you listen. That was a big person having that sex too. That wasn't right.
Colony House don't discriminate.
No, not if you up in that piece. Listen, I'm up in there. If I'm living in that lifestyle, if you like me, I like you. I mean, you ain't got a lot to pick from up in there and everything else. You gonna
Cushion, more cushion for the pushing. That's that's how you gotta
That's
look
what
at
makes
it.
what Porn Stash did all the more stupid. Like he just really worked his way through the whole situation, and then he's like turned into the monsters. He's like, I'm so bored. I'm turned into that.
Porn
Look at that
Stash.
monster.
That's hilarious, and I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah,
Porn Stash is the
Tony
Stash
Danza
is
Porn
the
Stash.
funniest
Definitely
name.
Porn Stash,
The
dude.
big dummy. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
I thought Miles Davis was funny, but when I heard these guys saying Porn Stash, yo, come
It's
on.
so accurate. It's so
It's
accurate.
very 70s porn stash. Now that I think of it, that's very, very fitting.
He got the Ron Jeremy mustache, yo. Like,
yeah. You can look at the dude, and you can imagine him just sitting up in the window with his homeboy smoking weed. Like, yo, son, look at that one. That one's hot right there. It's pretty hot right there. Look at her. Look at her.
Well, we saw also for Fatima, we saw her losing her tooth, or it was something bloody in her mouth, I think.
Yep.
So, and by the way, I mean, because I was schooled by the women in my chat. Apparently, pregnancy does affect the teeth.
Yes,
it can. So I don't know if that's accelerated. I don't know if that's
my baby's mother's sister lost all of her teeth because she didn't drink enough milk, and the baby took all the calcium from her teeth.
Right.
It pulled everything out.
Oh, yeah.
So
and if this is an accelerated pregnancy kind of thing, what if this baby is drawing more calcium than a normal fetus, and it's kind of affecting her that much faster?
It could. My wife had all these cavities with our first kid, so
Yeah. So what if I'm thinking by the end of the season she goes into labor, because Ellis and Fatima's wedding was the beginning of the ending of season 2. Like there were 5 main events. You had Ellis and Fatima's wedding, then you had Boyd going to get the torch, then you had Jade in the tunnels, then you had Tabitha at the lighthouse, and I would say the 5th was a couple of days later when Tabitha wakes up in the hospital. So those 5 things, and I think we'll probably have 5 hit cliffhangers again at the end of season 3, and one of them might be Fatima going into labor.
You think she goes into labor at the end of this season?
I think so.
Okay.
I think she gives birth this season, maybe even halfway through the season. Like what E-Man was saying, I think by episode 4 or 5, that baby in one way or another is out.
I know people.
They're gonna cut out when everybody sees the baby. Like, what the cut?
Yeah, people say that the monsters were going to pull the baby out of her belly.
Ew.
That's what I heard.
Terrence said that might be what's going on in the barn scene, because they also have that nurse monster in there. Yeah, so that would be crazy. That would be real crazy.
That would be if we go by the title of the episode, and we're saying that that's the same thing that Jade said to her. That would be that barn scene, if that's what it is what 1, 2. If we're saying Mrs. Lou gonna die, and that's the title, that would be episode 1. If she's the person that's in the barn, if she dies some other way. But it seems like she's in peril when the cows are outside and everything else. So you would think that it's going to be at some point then. If it was some type of situation where it's Fatima in the barn, that's the barn situation they're doing. Episode 1, they couldn't pull that baby out her ass. That would just be too much. They would have to give it a little bit.
Yeah.
That would just be too quick. Luna Cascade saying for the super chat says, do you think Ellis painted the boy in white rather than Victor? The artist seemed to have a more mature hand. Now she's talking about the picture of the boy in white as a grown-ass man that's inside of the title episode. If you look at that picture compared to the other drawings that are there, you can see that picture is a more mature, it's a different drawing compared to what Victor is there. So who painted that picture? And she's asking, do you think that Victor painted that picture up there? I'm gonna see if I could find that.
I think so. I think I don't know actually, because there are some pictures in the peach truck. There's some stuff in the peach truck that looks adult or more mature artwork as well.
Does Ellis paint? I thought he used his like charcoal. Like I thought he was like black and white. He did painting.
He painted the Adam and Eve tapestry on the wall.
Oh, you talking about the one in the beginning?
Yeah, it has. Yeah. I didn't think he painted that either, but he just did an interview that confirmed it.
Okay.
That Ellis painted that, and that is Fatima and Ellis. I thought that might have been Julie and Elgin on that tapestry, but it was actually Fatima and Ellis.
All right, so you see, this is this is a drawing that Victor normally does, and then when you look at this picture right here of the grown-up boy in white,
right,
you can see that this is a different style. He's got the crow in his mouth,
crow lips.
It looks more mature. Don't look sloppy like that. So this is the picture she's asking about.
Yo, that's actually something that I pointed out in my very first video on my YouTube channel was the crow mouth. I noticed the crow mouth, and I noticed that the scene right after that, or the shot right after that, they show the crows flying, and you it's obvious that that's a crow's mouth.
I would say that probably did not come from Ellis, only because the boy in white appears to only show up to people that have some sort of, and I'll just call it for the sake of what it is, spiritual connection to this place. And I don't believe Ellis has that kind of connection with this place. So
I think he does.
It would have to come from either Ethan, Victor, people that the boy in white actually has shown up to. So I would think that it was not Ellis.
Okay.
And could it?
I know where it is from. I want y'all to comment, and then I'll tell you. I know exactly where it's from. I can guarantee.
Eloise used to do drawings, right? Didn't Eloise used to do drawings before Victor?
Yes.
I mean, it
could be hers too.
That might be one of her paintings. That might be one of her paintings. But there's one thing about Ellis. Ellis has a drawing in his room where he pretty much predicted Tabitha at the lighthouse. And I think there's a drawing in Ellis's room that predicts Tabitha at the lighthouse. I'm gonna find it, send it to Tony. He's already got his screen up.
Yeah, you can screen share it yourself when you bring it. It's easier that way.
Okay, bet.
So Anthony, who you think did this?
I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around Ellis doing the one painting, because I used to draw, and I understand, as you draw and you evolve as an artist, you adapt different styles, but he was drawing photorealistic stuff. That's why I'm I almost feel like it would be a Victor or Ethan or somebody along those lines as well, because we've seen their drawings. It kind of looks like this is a more mature version of that.
All right.
Yeah.
Phil? I trust the artist on this.
I think I go exactly what you were just saying. It's a mature version of Victor. Maybe it's Victor grown up a little bit. I know grown up from this point, matured a little bit. His skills practice. It does kind of look the more I look at it, it does look in Victor's style. And someone said this in our chat we were doing the other night, Tony. It looks like Ben Linus. If people have seen Lost, it kind of looks like Ben Linus.
It
But
does look like
It
him.
does, yeah.
yeah, it does.
I would not be surprised if he showed up too.
Yeah, suddenly Michael Emerson, I think that's his name.
The
showed
fact
up.
that they show the boy in white as a grown man, Sarah says in the show that she doesn't think he's a little boy when Boyd asks about him, shows to show that the boy in white is not a little boy. That's some type of avatar. I'll tell you exactly what this picture is from. I don't know who drew it, but I can tell you because I did a video and I put it. I could see I seen it in the video that I did today. This drawing is in the basement that Tabitha goes to find. If you look at that picture when she goes down there, look around the right hand side. It's sitting right on the floor right there. So I don't know who drew it, but I know it's that that it's in that basement. So that this picture is in that basement.
Interesting.
So you're saying that this is one of Eloise's drawings?
I don't know who did it.
know.
I don't know
We
who
don't know
did it.
who
I
that
just know
is.
it's in that basement.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. I agree with that. I don't think that Victor did it because his drawing is kind of juvenile. You know what I'm saying? However, Eloise definitely seemed like she sharpened up her art skills and stuff. You could see the things that she drew of the Puritan, and there's this painting of like two heads or whatever, and she has the straight line for the nose, and it just totally is indicative of what we see there with that picture. So I think that title credits does show some of Eloise's artwork as well.
All right, Coco Beauty, thank you for the super chat. She says, I love the fellas getting together to review from. Now we need the ladies to do a mega stream. I really love this from community. I would love to see all the ladies are from community do a mega stream. Please do it. Please make that happen. Get together and get that done. And Luna says we don't know when drawing paintings are done. No, we have no idea when they're done. You're 100% correct on that. 100%.
Right.
And
At
now
least from someone from a previous
that's a
round.
wonderful idea though, to do the female stream. The females get together and do a stream. That's a wonderful idea.
All right, Real, you wanted to show this picture? What we looking at right here? What is it?
Okay, so we're looking at one of Ellis's drawings, and I am trying. Do you have a? Well, I'm trying to find a picture of Tabitha in the lighthouse. You know how it is with all your from stuff. It's like all over the place.
Yeah.
Here we go. Okay, so we have Tabitha at the lighthouse. Okay, you see, here's Ellis's drawing, and you can clearly see a woman's face right here. This is a woman's face, and the reflector panes inside of the light. You can see the reflector pane right here. You can see the circles and the outward circles. Now, funny enough, here's another one it looks like as well, another outside circle, but it also looks like there's some cracks here that indicates broken glass, which would be this pane right here has broken glass on it as well. Now, the thing about this, if you look at the lighthouse, you see these diamond structures, the diamond structure here.
Yep.
If you put these two circles together, that's the pattern that you'll get. You'll begin to make that diamond structure. This is a symbol known as the Vesica Pisces, which is a mathematical symbol that's used to create this geometrical shape. But this is a drawing of Ellis's in his room, and it totally shows a woman's face, and it totally shows the circles of the reflector planes here. And like we're talking, this is season 1 shit right here. So yeah, he definitely I think is connected to this place.
You don't know which episode that was, do you? Or would you have
which episode of course this one is episode 10
yeah,
of
I know that one.
But this one is I got this from season 1, I believe.
Okay.
I got this from season 1. I'm not sure what episode. There's only a couple episodes where Ellis's room is in the play in season 1, and it's one of those episodes where you can see it in Ellis's room. I think it's when he lays on the bed and Julie is in the room and he's in there with his shirt off and he's like, yo, and he gets up.
That's episode 2.
Okay, so that might be that right there, you know. But yeah, so I think he might be connected to this place. And you know, Fatima says that this place kind of messes with people Also, Kenny said that people see all kind of strange shit in this place. So it seems as though like people have had visions in this place and they have talked about it to others. But yeah, that was that, I feel you on that, but I definitely think he might be connected to this place for sure.
All right. All right. That's what's up. Yeah, y'all send your super chats, especially if we streaming. I'll read all super chats from whoever's channel that you're putting. I can't tell whose channel it is, so I'm just gonna read it as a super chat, and that's what it is. So I'm just putting them up there and everything else. We got another was from Elizabeth 213. The name Elgin is the name of a watch company. Do you guys think that could mean his character will have an effect on time there? Thank you, guys.
Interesting.
And thank you for that super chat. That was on my end right there. I appreciate that. And also, that's a very good point about the watch company, because watch companies deal with gears. We saw the gears in the tower. We saw the gears at the on the music box, and also we saw two clocks that are at Colony House, a grandfather clock there, one in the tunnel. Jade wears a watch. Randall has a digital watch, but the nurse monster actually has a watch on her breast that's upside down. So that's pretty dope. And
anybody else has
generosity on the super chat.
Anybody else has any takes on this? Anybody take? Yeah, I think it does mean a little something here. I think that when you deal with time, you deal with relativity. You deal with this certain dimensions. Time is its own dimension. I think we're dealing with multiple dimensions, and time itself is its own dimension when you deal with space and time. So I think it more refers to something like that. I would say more of a time travel aspect, or some type of wormhole, as I believe. A wormhole situation that people are getting sucked into, and that all has to do with relativity. So I think that's when it comes down to time. That's the way I view Elgin. But yes, his name is definitely the name of a watch company.
Interesting. It made me think for some reason of Heroes and Sylar being named after a watch, and his villainous nature being named after a watch. So there's some connection there with someone just adopting the name and the time having some referential meaning or something like that. But I'm reaching because I wanted to mention Heroes for some reason.
Who never wants to reference Heroes?
Especially the first season. I mean, the
Heroes
first
was great.
Just keep it at the first season.
Keep it when Heroes. Spoiler alert! Keep it when Heroes stabs Sylar and end it right there, and it's a very good season of show.
Yeah, it was an amazing show.
I just looked up the name Elgin, and Elgin has like multiple meanings. So like in Celtic, it means like beauty or beautiful place. It could also mean worthy. Like if you look on the bump, I guess it says it has Gaelic roots, meaning high-minded. So it's perfect for any little guy with a strong moral compass. Elgin can also mean Little Ireland. Like one of the things that I always thought was interesting is like, even when you think about the title From, everybody who's there feels like they're from someplace else, they're from some other walk of life than the other person, right? Like Elgin has a unique name. Fatima has a unique name. Kenny doesn't have a unique name, but that's not his real name, right? I think back in season 1, they said that his name was Fuhan. He just goes by, he wanted an American name, so he picked Kenny. So like, I'm curious if Elgin has any deeper meaning than that, other than it just being a reflection of like everybody being from different walks of life in the world.
Yeah, what do we know about Elgin? Let's go through Elgin's character real quick. He comes, he's on the bus. He says and he says specifically he's not supposed to be here. He throws up. He has the seizure. He goes through his whole thing. Then he tries to pick up this one chick that says like he's macking on Sarah. Do your thing, homie. And then he has the dream of the Fatima monster that I believe drowning him. When I interviewed him and he came on the show, he said that it wasn't just a little bit of water that came out of him. It was like a whole pond that came out of his mouth that they didn't show on screen. That's the way he was told when he was acting, that what it was supposed to be like. And he says he's seen the boy in white. That's what we know about him. Like, why did the boy in white show himself to Elgin? Like,
and why to tell him the same old nursery rhyme that the town already knew about?
Yeah. Why these boy in white tell him? Then the boy in white says that nursery rhyme. Because the boy in white is evil, people. I'm trying. Hey, let's go around the horn real quick. Who thinks the boy in white is good? Who thinks the boy in white is evil? And y'all in the chat, y'all can answer this question too. Who thinks the boy in white is good? Who thinks it's evil? Phil, we'll start with you, then go around everybody.
I think the jury's still out. The boy in white could right now
No fence riding, Phil.
is
No
gray. The boy in white then he's selfish. He's a narcissist. He's working for himself. He's working for himself.
All right, real.
I'm not sure. I'm totally not sure. Like I really don't know if he's good or evil yet. I think he might be working for an evil faction, because I think there are two factions. We saw the crow getting eaten in the tunnel, so that kind of makes me think that there's two different factions or more. But I, at the same time, I think he does things that he's not supposed to do. I think he helps people with sometimes, and I think he kind of cheats for the other side at times.
This is a lot of middle ground we're hearing here. Can we get some answers? Can we get some answers?
I think he works. I think he works for the evil one, but I think that he wants to help the people sometime as well. You know what I mean? Because why apologize to Tabitha before tossing her out the window like that? He could have just tossed her out the window. Like he could have said,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Polite guy.
Like,
if I had to smack you to wake you up, I might say sorry too.
Things I do for love.
I don't know. So I'd say that he works for something. He works for an entity, but he works for the bad guy, but he does good things. I don't think that. I think that in movies today, I think we got kind of past the good and evil being a black and white situation.
I don't know. He's in white. Jeremy.
He is in white. I've gone back and forth on this 100 times too, because there's some things that point to him potentially wanting to help, but then you can't ignore all the incredibly sus things about the boy in white at the same time. Yeah. I'm starting to think that maybe he's not good or evil, but it's simply like you mentioned a little bit, real, that maybe he just has his own agenda and he's using pieces on the board to achieve that end. If he has to use the town, he'll use the town. If he has to use something else, he'll use something else. If it comes to a point where he has to do something that would harm a member of the town, maybe he'll even do that. So I tend to think it's not a good or an evil thing. I think he's just got his own agenda entirely, and we're not quite sure what it is yet.
All right, E-Man.
I'm gonna go off of the evidence, and I'm definitely open to hearing you guys explain what you think he's doing that's evil. But so far, I've only seen him do helpful things. I don't know if he's some benevolent, type of entity or whatnot, but I do think that he is more good than he is anything else. Because again, I haven't seen it, but I'm open to hearing why you guys think he's so evil.
I ain't see anything to show him just being evil either. Like, he's only been helping people the whole time. He does show up at odd times, and he isn't like that type of person that shows up when you need them, but he's definitely not doing anything, or at least I haven't seen him do anything that really pushes the idea that he's evil.
All right, let's go through it then real quick of what the boy in white actually did, and let's look at it, what it really did. All right, so we look at the boy in white. He tells Sarah and Boyd to get inside the tree. Sarah gets sent back to town where they want to kill her. All right, that's where she winds up. They want to kill her ass. Boyd gets stuck in the well where there are creatures out of there that could possibly kill him, and he gets infected by these worms. Didn't seem like
did he die?
He did not die. Neither of them died, but
nobody died.
They could have died. It wasn't like that. Maybe can't control that.
When did they go into the tree?
When he told them to go in the tree, while
when
they were walking,
it was and the horn was blowing.
Yeah, that was right after they got dragged, right? After they got dragged.
It was after they got dragged. Then they started walking for a while, and then they saw the lighthouse. But then they started.
So what was the alternative if they did not go in the tree?
They go to the lighthouse itself.
Is that what would have happened? Because it seemed like this entity or this place, because the boy in white confirmed this place is mad or
That's
it's
what he
angry
said.
or
That's
whatever.
what they would confirm. That was his thoughts.
He confirmed what they thought, because
Yeah.
Sarah was like, I think this place is angry, or somebody said that earlier, and he was like, yeah, you're right.
Yes.
This place does get angry, or it is mad.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think it's fair to say that this boy probably, let's call it an entity. The boy in white entity is probably more connected to this place than anyone else. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
So
Probably.
I would think that unless we have otherwise to believe he has ulterior motives, he's probably telling the truth about this place having feelings.
Well, people do say things to manipulate people. So we
That's
know
true.
that they were on their way to the lighthouse. We know that Tabitha escaped through the lighthouse. We know that Victor's mother was said that she needed to get to the lighthouse to save the children. He prevented them from going to the lighthouse by telling them to get into the tree.
Yeah,
So he didn't say that. It wasn't like this was a lightning storm and it was lightning flashing.
It was raining. It was raining.
Just rain. You know what I mean? It was
raining, and they would be. And if I'm not mistaken, there was like some sort of siren, maybe even dogs barking. There was something going on that happened at that moment to make it seem like something was about to escalate. And then the boy in white showed up and was talking to Sarah and told her to put Boyd in the, like, it didn't seem like they were close enough to the lighthouse either. Like they weren't like right up on it.
They weren't right next to it. They could have got there.
They were close enough for the light to hit their tent the next morning. So they were in decent distance at least.
Yeah, I mean, it does shine light pretty far. So like they still, depending on whatever it was that he was warning them about, let's say there was some real threat out there in the woods, there's no promise that they would have reached that place before they got caught by whatever was out there, or that they would have had protection when they got there, right? Like, maybe the talisman would have helped them.
There was probably a bigger unforeseen danger in the forest had the boy in white never intervened. We already know something crazy. There were spiders out there and more mysterious things that we have no idea about. So if the boy had not intervened, you got weird spiders, you got weird unforeseen stuff. You have an entire entity of an environment that is angry. You want them to face that versus going in the tree and at least having a chance of survival?
I gotta agree with that.
I mean, listen,
because if they would have tried to make it to that tower, as far as that tower was away, it would have been meatloaf.
That's right.
That's the point. We don't know. All we know is that
and it was getting dark.
In the forest is bad. It's bad. It gets worse.
Well, and Boyd was very weak too. So if he was going to make it to the tower, it would take him even twice as long because he was so weak at that point. He could
after
barely
the spider
walk.
bites because he wasn't
pretty far from the tower though. And
he wasn't turning into Spider-Man. He was kind of failing at that point in time. He wasn't getting superpowers.
They weren't the radioactive kind.
And let's
got a super chat beauty.
I'll take the super chats in a second. I got two of them up there. I'll take them in a second. Let's just finish the conversation real quick. Keep going.
I was gonna say, like, Victor, if Victor is reliable enough,
okay.
He said that and keep in mind, he used to have conversations with the boy in white, whatever they talked about. I don't know. But if we're to believe what Victor says, the trees take you at random places. So I don't think we've had the closest we've had to some sort of well, I don't think the boy in white has ever said, like, if you go into the tree, you go to this specific place. And I don't think he controls the trees. I think the trees are controlled by the environment. But if they are like dimensional portals or whatever, they probably just take you to random places.
But
you might show up under a boulder,
tree that takes
or you might show up at home.
There's one tree that has a
but I would say this, E. If that is the case, then how did Victor know to draw the face on that rock, drop it there? He knew it was going to fall down there for Ethan to see.
That's a fact.
He didn't know where it was going to drop.
Well, he drew that.
Yeah, how did he know? How did he know that he was going to be able to demonstrate the faraway tree?
That it worked. He drew the face for a reason. He showed it to him. He put it in the tree.
We don't know that he knew that it was going to do it.
Look around. It's not like
We
he was
don't know
like, "Hey, look
100%,
over
but
there." He was just like,
he did grab Ethan
and then it
take a
fell,
few
and he was like,
steps
"Oh,
back,
see?"
like he was afraid it was going to land on them. So it did kind
Yeah.
of seem like he knew it was going to land there. He even grabs Ethan and kind of steps back so it won't hit them. It did kind of seem like he knew it was going to arrive somewhere close.
He knew he was going to be able to demonstrate it to Ethan. That's why he drew the face on it. He
Sure.
knew that he would. And then the craziest part is the face is not even the same face he drew on it.
Unless, is there some kind of difference? Is putting an object in a faraway tree different than having a whole human go in? Is there a different mechanism?
Oh,
Like,
that could be a thing as well. But
I
for
think
sure,
they
the
said
faces on the rock were different.
I think they said something about the trees having or they implied like a temperament. Like
Yeah.
they send you where they want to send you.
mm,
These
Right.
these
But
trees.
Victor, he wanted to demonstrate
devices.
the faraway tree, and he was able to demonstrate it. Why didn't his rock just
He
go into
might
the
have
well?
it might have just been that the tree wanted to show them. Like
But
Ethan is special, right? Like it's not like he's a regular person. Right. So he's somebody that sees the boy in white. And if there is some truth to the trees having a temperament, they might have wanted him to start to understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've seen the trees do different things at different times. At one time, it did just put Boyd into a well where he got stuck. But at another time, it took Julie to safety as far away from Colony House as possible.
Yeah.
Like he knew, and the boy in white pointed them into that tree, mind you. Right. Okay. So like, there's a implication that the tree does send you.
But I will say this: when he did see that with Ethan, he specifically says, "I've never seen this tree before."
No,
like
yeah,
that,
he does.
Like
he doesn't.
That tree. He says so. You could say that if he's mapped out other trees, he may know what they're going to do. But he specifically says, "I've never seen this one before." Writes a smiley face on the rock, drops it, and knows that he's going to be able to prove to Ethan what he's saying is true from there. You know what I mean? So I don't know about them being temperamental or anything else like that. You know what I mean? I think someone's controlling where people go. And that's what it is. Now, if y'all want to say it's magic and it's the place, then that's on you. That's cool. But I don't think they're random, these trees.
I think it's like a D&D random dice roll in some times when you go in there.
Dice roll too.
And it's like sometimes there's odds that you may get to a certain place more often by going through certain trees or certain areas of the forest that get you to certain places, but it's not common. It's like going through a warp zone in a Mario game that maybe it will get you to this land, maybe it will get you to that land, but one time it will get you to the underwater land.
You know where you're going. When
Sarah and Boyd
went
went through the same tree and went to do two different places. That to me proves the whole dice roll thing.
Yeah, we have two different instances.
I mean, but they both ended up where they needed to be, though.
Fair,
right? Like they absolutely both ended up where they needed to be. Boyd ended up where he ended up getting the worms in him that actually helped him move on to the next level, right? If he never would have gotten those worms in him, he would have never been able to carry on into the upper levels of this game. Sarah had to go back to town. There was her point out there in the woods was done, and
she's played her role.
She's played her role.
Yeah.
It does feel like everybody ended up where they needed to be at that moment.
I mean, they sent her back to town. They're trying to murder Sarah, put her in the box.
Yeah, that's
Sarah, but they did it.
That's a
but they didn't.
Problem. She brought that on herself. But that does not, in my opinion, that does not implicate the boy in white. If we're going with that theory that people need to be where they need to be, then I don't think that implicates the boy in white. So if y'all got something else, I'm open to that.
I mean, everything that happened with Boyd, right? And the music box happened when he sent Boyd, if we say he sent them to that well. That monster got released when he went to that well. All the bad things started to happen when he got sent to that well. That music box, all that stuff never happened before. It wasn't until he went through that tree and the boy in white put him to that well. So you may say he needed to get those worms in his arm. Did he need to see that music box? Did he need to hear that? That unleashed the entity upon the town when he did that.
I mean, I don't think you can really escape bad things from happening, in this place. Like I think at the end of the day, there's a whole purpose of trying to achieve the greater good. And the greater good at this point is literally surviving. If you're going to get cut up, if you might lose an arm or two, that might just happen. But you're trying to get out and survive. And I think that's what the boy in white ultimately is trying to do. He's not trying to protect them from every single evil, because you're literally in an environment of evil from what this appears to be. But I think he's trying to at least help them survive. And as Anthony said, Boyd did move up. He leveled up by going. It was rough. It was definitely some rough patches, but you know, shout out to
But
the
now
people
he
that
knows
died.
there's
But,
Yo, I
Every
want to
level has
say,
a boss.
I want to
Every
say a
level
quick
has a
thing real
boss.
quick.
and they
I
killed a
think
monster too. Come on,
And
I think that what unleashed the thing on the town was Boyd opening up that bottle with the 1864 date in it. I think when he got into the faraway tree with the with that 1865 note in his pocket, that is what made him go to Martin. And I got a screen share for you right here, Tony. Check this out. Here it is. When Victor draw on the right, you see Victor where he drew the rock on the rock, and then you see when he picked it up off the ground and showed the face to Ethan. It's two different faces.
Yeah,
and
you got to bring in that left hand one so we can see it clearer, if you can.
faces. And also, it looks like two different rocks, to be honest. It looks like two totally different rocks to me. But the
Definitely,
faces,
there's no doubt that's two different faces.
One's
The
much
smile
better
is different.
circle. One looks like it used a compass. The other one was drawn by someone that didn't quite know how to do a circle.
right, the mouth was even messed up. The mouth has like a straight line, like it was smirking a little bit. This one is like the Walmart smiley face on the other one.
Perfect. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a perfect one.
So
I don't know
I
about
definitely think that there's something up with that. I don't know if that's a production goof or gaff or what, but I
Yeah.
definitely think something's up with that one.
it was
Yeah, is
season
that
one. I'd put
deliberate,
money
or
on
is that
production.
just the
Right.
just a production error
Yeah,
where
just
they
a prop,
grabbed
yeah,
two
a
rocks
prop
that
error
looked
or something.
similar through
I
Smiley.
think
They
I heard
ran out
them
of
say in
budget.
an interview
The
that they
daylight
were
ran
filming
out.
like
They had to reshoot the next day. Somebody was like, "Yo, just make another rock."
Yeah, no one's
Pick
gonna look
another
at this.
They'll never know.
No one's
No
gonna
one's
do
gonna
this.
know. They'll
No
No
one's
never
gonna
one will
know.
ever
screw to
know.
film this. Nobody. But the boy in white, I think the shadiest thing that he did, and the thing to point out is what he did to Tabitha. And we don't know yet if that ends up being a good thing for Tabitha. Does that level up Tabitha, or does that put her in a fucked position? It's to be determined. If Tabitha ends in a fucked position, I think that helps us
Yes.
dictate a little bit more what the boy in white's agenda is.
Yes.
But he did apologize.
Mhm.
You know,
He
like
did.
he pushed her out. He pushed her out as we were talking about earlier. Like he did it in a very polite way. So that means he's nice.
Oh,
But no, he
so
did push. He pushed someone out a window, and she was scared.
There's
So
people who beat their wives and apologize the next day. Phil, don't give me
Don't
that
do that.
apology stuff. Bro.
I was speaking
Give me that
sarcastically.
apology stuff, Phil. I don't want to
It was
hear that.
I didn't hear the cicada monster apologize to nobody. He was laughing that he tricked Boyd.
Okay, I
Mhm.
agree.
Well, that's
Let
the
me
thing.
take
Does the boy in white potentially want Tabitha to bring something back from? Like, did he send her there for a specific reason? I mean, like you said, he does
Possible.
say, "I'm sorry, this is the only way." What do you mean this is the only way? He has to know that she's probably going to do everything in her power to get back to her family. So, is there something that she's meant to bring back with her, or someone that she's meant to bring back with her, like Eloise, maybe?
All right,
Well,
real quick, let's
Eloise
go.
died, right?
Let me just say these super chats. Let me say them. And
No,
then
we don't
can,
know what happened to Eloise. We don't know if she's dead or not. That's
Yeah, we have
they have not
no
revealed it.
idea about Eloise right now. It says Coco Beauty says maybe Elgin was born with a cow and he has spiritual gifts. And then From Downtown said in the latest interview, Donna talked about doors that led to different levels of Fromville. Did she say the exact words "different levels" from Fromville? I didn't see the interview. Is that what her words were? Different levels? Because I heard that she said different ways in and out of Fromville. That's what I heard she said. So
I got that interview on my watch list. I'm definitely gonna watch that shit. I haven't seen it.
And everything. So thank you for the super chat and everything else. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think that it's too cliche to have this little boy in white, all white, be the good guy. I just don't think it would run, especially when you hear Sarah say, I don't think he's a little boy. I showed you the picture of the guy in the same exact clothes as a grown man. Right, same clothes as the boy in white as a grown man. I don't see him.
So what do you think he is, a pedo? Like that doesn't make him evil. Like just if
I
he's a ghost,
think
I mean, because he's been around for a while, right? Like he was a little boy ever since Victor got there in the 70s. So he probably isn't a little boy, but that's probably the image he just portrays of himself. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be an
That
makes him
evil. Takes on. Like, can he portray himself as other forms? Is he stuck in this boy form?
Right.
Like that's what we don't know. But we know he's very old. Like you mentioned, he's been there since Victor was a child.
And didn't Sarah say that they were stuck there or something? Like
the voices,
whatever
yes,
voices she was hearing
too. And they've been waiting a very long time for someone to come around that could hear them. That's why they were so drawn to Sarah. She's the first one that could hear them.
Yeah. All right, we have 2 more super chats. Let me get these out. I'm sorry I didn't see them. Luna, thank you. She says, season 2, episode 2, Martin says the Boyd, the darkness in the forest, nightmares you can't even begin to imagine, things we were never meant to see. This was foreshadowing. Thoughts on this panel. Let's just go through this real quick. We have heard nightmare, dream from season 1 a billion different times. We've seen dream catchers in there and everything else. The creatures themselves in IDMB are called nightmare creatures. Is this some type of inception situation that this is a creation of somebody's nightmare come to life? Y'all can go around the horn real quick. Anybody?
It could be. I think it could be. I think we see some I don't know if it's the entire thing is a dream. However, we do see like dreams, visions, premonitions, and they're all kind of falling under the same category actually. Even though semantically those things are different by definition, but they seem to have some of the same purposes. Like we seen Boyd bring back that torch from wherever he was.
Yep.
But that's very that's very much like Kenny brought back the burn mark on his arm from his dream that we know it was a dream. It's very similar to how Elgin brought back water from his dream of being drowned. So maybe Boyd's whole situation was a dream. As a matter of fact, maybe every single time we saw the music box could have been some sort of dream or vision, hallucination type of thing. So I think that all of those things can exist at the same time.
Well, that's the thing. We have seen that things inside dreams or things inside visions, they can be physically manifested into the real world. That much the show kind of has established, like you mentioned, with Kenny and the burn, Elgin waking up, spitting out water from his dream. So things can be pulled into reality from a nightmare dream sequence. And we hear that kind of theory early on where Sarah's brother has, where she kind of thought that potentially when people die here, their worst fears, the forest manifests their worst fears. So we have seen things can get brought in here from people's worst nightmares and dreams, kind of.
And it is interesting, even voicing it in that way. You're describing things from Nightmare on Elm Street movies, what Nancy could do, or what Christian.
And that's even how they describe season 2 towards the end. Some of the creators, they even said it goes into kind of Nightmare on Elm Street territory. They even said that.
Interesting.
And talking about manifesting real things, I mean, whether Abby coming back in a vision that Boyd saw was a nightmare he has of his past and seeing her within the spiders, and then that sort of masking something that was really happening in the real world too. So I don't know how nightmares fit into this exactly, but I do think it's connected somehow. I mean, like you were saying, Tony, they're called the nightmare creatures, or at least that's how they've been labeled by production. So it seems like that's for a reason.
They say it's brought up too many times. Even Jay, when he first gets there, he thinks it's a escape room. He says, what is this, some type of nightmare escape room? I mean, it just keeps coming up over and over. Is it red herring? And they're just trying to bait you into thinking it? Maybe. But they do bring it up an awful lot with these. But the nightmare creatures kind of, can they really red herring calling the creatures the nightmare creatures? Would you be happy it just turned out to be a dream? Would you say this is a good ending for the show? Or would you be like, nah, I ruined it?
Nah, I think that'd be kind of whack if it was all a dream. Only because we've seen other elements at play, like witchcraft and or like the talisman. You know, like how is that a dream? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would be more in line with the fact that we've seen that there's a psychic element going on, right? Like these monsters just so happen to know, or this place, this entity happens to know people's dreams or what happens or whatever. So, and vice versa happens, right? Like people that come into this place will have Elgin had dreams before he got there. Ethan has had certain dreams of Victor's room, when he first got there. So I think that dreams are probably just another way in and out to tap into Fromville.
Another thing is
all just a dream.
I think, didn't Harold say he spoke with the producers like before signing on to this show? Like the people who made this show also made Lost, right? And spoiler alert, like they kind of left Lost ambiguous as to like, were they alive? Were they dead? It was like very unclear as to what was really going on at the end. And I'm pretty sure he said before he signed on to this show, he made them commit like, this is not like that, right? There's something substantial going on here and there's an end in mind.
Yeah, and John Griffin even mentions that in the latest interview he did on the CBR YouTube channel. He says they have a beginning, they have a middle, and they know exactly where the ending is going. It's the in-between details that they'll kind of be filling in along the way. But John Griffin knows exactly how the story is going to end.
Yeah. And the quote, I think, is something Harold said. I still get asked to this day at parties about Lost, and I'm sick of answering the question. And the only way I'd agree to do this show is if I like the ending and I like it. It was something to that effect. So yeah, it is that's where it comes down to it. Whether it's dreams, whether it's aliens, whether it's witchcraft. For me, I just want a good ending that makes sense from beginning to end. And so I don't really care necessarily what it is, as long as it's effectively well. I know what I think I see, and I think that's what's fun about what we're all talking about. But I think all of us, as long as the ending is satisfying, we'll do our own.
Phil, you know it's aliens. Phil, stop fronting. This script, you know what it is. The real rebel Eric, he says the Temptations were originally named the Elgins.
I think it's this alien is controlling everything.
I didn't know that. I'm a Temptations fan. I didn't know they were originally. It could be that, but it could be that.
It could be. He's trying to get all the cats sent down there.
And that one dude who's on Jeremy and Ice and Fire's channel, he's an alien believer. He knows the truth.
Yep, he thinks it's aliens. Yeah, he's right. Convinced it's aliens.
He's right. Don't worry. Tell him to hold the faith. Hold the faith, man. Keep.
I wouldn't be. I particularly wouldn't be mad if it was aliens. However, I would definitely want them to put a very unique spin on it, something that would be really dope. Yeah. But if it's a dream, it's gonna be shitty because I'm instantly not gonna give a fuck about any of the characters anymore. Like as soon as the show's over and they reveal that shit, I'm gonna be like, man, I wasted a couple years of my life on this bullshit. Like,
how about the fact that these aliens are clearly xenophobic? Like, so they only come to America. They don't want to go nowhere else on the whole globe.
Yeah, they don't want to hop over across the pond or anything. Or is there another?
We don't know
in other countries, maybe.
We don't know if they're in other countries. These people haven't experienced them in other countries. Doesn't mean we don't know that they are in other countries.
Maybe that's what Squid Game is. It's just in another country.
It could be a situation like that. And everything else. All right. So I know Taryn Matheru. He makes up great theories. He's in the chat. He has a theory. Let's just talk about his theory real quick. Better if he could talk about him. So Phil, you got the phone line? Is it possible?
Yeah, it's open if he wants to call it.
All right. So yeah, we can put the phone line in right now. We'll put the phone line up. It's going to be Phil's phone line. So people who are my mods, Jackie C, will you please put Phil's phone line in there? He has a theory about an eclipse that's going to happen and stuff. And maybe we can get him to call in and have him explain it before we talk about it. So we'll give him a second before we go into the eclipse thing and see what y'all think about the eclipse theory and everything else. But besides that, we dealt with the boy in white. We haven't really talked about which. I don't know what KP is at. I don't understand. He usually is here. Tabitha. Let's go into Tabitha. Tabitha is in the real. I put a video out about Tabitha and everything out today and everything else. Everybody go check that out if you can get a chat. What's going on with Tabitha? What do you think is going to go? First, let's go through this. I said that's goddamn Victor's father that she runs into in there. Do y'all think it's Victor's father? Or do you think it's somebody else? Let's go through around the horn with that.
Yeah, I think that's his. I think that's Victor's pops. I think that's I think Henry. What's his name? Henry.
Yeah.
His name. Yeah, I think Henry is Victor's pops. I'm almost 100% sure of it. He even looks like Victor to me. Like as far as like the clothes, the
Yeah.
little flannel shirt. Like I think they use that as a clue to say, yeah, this is Victor's dad.
Well, you look
There's
at the nose; they have almost
KP
the
is
same
in the
nose.
chat.
That dude and Victor.
Yeah, KP is in the chat. And Susan, yes, it is my live. If you're asking, yeah, it is. It is from my channel, and everyone else stream knows. So yeah, and KP is in the chat. Yeah, Jeremy, what you say? Say we didn't hear you.
Yeah, it's got to be either Victor and Eloise's father or some other very close familial bond. Like you said, Real, he does kind of look like Victor, not just the clothes, but if you look at that dude's face, you know, the nose and the eyes, he's got very similar features to Victor. They almost have the same nose. But yeah, you see the pictures on the wall. I mean, they're a little hard to make out, but they do kind of look like a young Eloise and a young Victor. Then the pictures in the basement, I get the feeling that this, whatever house this is, if it's not Victor's father, it is some other family member of Eloise and Victor.
We do have Taryn on, I think.
All right.
Hey, everyone.
What's going on,
There he is.
How's it going, everyone?
Hey.
Would you like me to tell you what I think is going to happen in season 3?
We would like you to go to the eclipse theory is what we were talking about a little bit.
Oh, the eclipse theory. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with the eclipse theory, there's a couple of images of what looks like an eclipse hidden in the background of the show. And what I found interesting is, you know, the animals are out at what seems like night. And you've also got Ethan and Julie opening the door and then looking surprised to see a monster there. Like if you're opening the door at night, let's say it's like someone pretending to be Tabitha saying, open the door. Would you open the door and be surprised to see the monster there in such a like shocked way? Or would you be like, oh, we've been tricked? Like, I don't know. It just felt strange for them to open the door without even looking through the window to see who was there. You know, they opened it very slowly. You know, if you thought someone was in trouble, you'd yank it right open, but it's a very slow open. So obviously, you know, I thought maybe it would make sense if, you know, Boyd and Fatima and Mrs. Liu and Jade are at the barn. You know, they're doing their thing. And then suddenly there's an eclipse. The monsters come out of that black hole that seems to be near the barn in Victor's Peach map. Maybe there's like a secret tunnel there, a secret cave exit there. Maybe they climb up the ground like zombies. You know, maybe they pull themselves through the soil. Because I noticed some of the actors have been sharing zombie emojis lately. Not sure why. We'll see. And yeah, so maybe this eclipse happens. Ethan and Julie think it's daytime, so when there's a knock on the door, they open it, and suddenly there's a grandma monster there, and it's nighttime, and they go running. So that's kind of where I'm at with the eclipse stuff. And I think it's Fatima in the barn having a baby ripped out of her belly, which is why Boyd is saying, "You're so strong, you're so strong." I think they're giving her a cesarean section, because what we know is that Fatima's surname is Rostami Hassan. And Rostami is a reference to the legend of Rostam, an Iranian sort of mythological figure. And he's very well known for needing to be cut out of his mother's belly. In fact, the word for cesarean in Iran is Rostamzad. So I think either way, she's going to definitely have a surgery to remove the baby, whether it's by Christie or whether it's by the monsters. I don't know. I think it's the monsters telling her to be strong. I think the showrunners put an ambulance in Fromland because someone's going to need to be saved with professional medical equipment to make it believable. So I think Fatima has the baby ripped out of her. The monsters disappear with the baby into the tunnel. Fatima gets saved in the ambulance. That's why the episode after the sort of sunlight reference episode, Daylight or something, is called Scar Tissue. That's because Fatima heals very quickly, just like everyone else does in Fromland, except for Jim. So yeah, that's my thinking there on why she has it ripped out of her. And I think it's Mrs. Liu that actually dies for the reasons everyone's discussed already. So that's about it, really, on that. I also think Eloise is Tabitha's mom, by the way. I'm just putting that out there.
What?
Eloise is Tabitha's mom. He said that's dope.
Dropped it at the end.
That whole theory is dope. Like if that theory comes out to be true, then people really gonna have to start looking a little bit more at Terran's theory for
Yeah,
sure.
we can talk about that a little bit
I'm
later.
sharing the eclipse photos that are seen on the show if you're interested right there.
All right, let's talk about a little bit about the eclipse situation. What do you guys feel about his eclipse theory? I know it's a popular theory. Do you think that possibly there's an eclipse catches people off guard, and that is why the monsters are able to get the upper hand on them?
I like the idea of the eclipse in theory, and it's something that we've discussed too in the past. Taryn definitely goes into some interesting details about it, which could very well be true. When I see that trailer, when I see the cow outside, part of me just thought that maybe the monsters let them out to lure them outside. And eclipses, I mean, I know this is Fromville and it's very weird. We don't really know how the atmosphere operates. Eclipses usually it's not instant. Doesn't instantly go from light to dark. So if eclipse does come around, they should have a little bit of time to kind of get inside and get themselves safe. But again, this is Fromville. Maybe it happens a lot faster here. But I do love the idea of an eclipse in theory. They're just out there doing their day-to-day chores, and all of a sudden, boom, it's becoming nighttime. But I don't know if that specifically is an eclipse in season 3.
Yeah,
I agree with you in that a natural eclipse, the maximum it would last is about 6 minutes, and they would have a fair amount of notice if it was a real eclipse. But it must be a magical eclipse, right? It probably happens suddenly. I wouldn't be surprised if a similar eclipse happened in 1978, and there's like a cycle where an eclipse will happen when it's almost like a cheat card that the boogeyman uses when he really wants something. Maybe he can only use it when he saved up enough power or something. So this time he wants Fatima's baby, so he uses it then when she's out and vulnerable in the barn, doing whatever. Maybe in 1978, it's because everyone's trying to escape. Children are in the tower, so he uses the eclipse then, because it's still light when Miranda goes outside, which is interesting. And then maybe that's how they got everyone outside. Maybe there isn't a betrayer. Maybe it's an eclipse. Sorry to speak so long, but yes, I agree with you there.
Thanks for the call. We got other calls coming in. Taryn, we'll definitely have you on the panel one of these days soon, and then we'll be able to go into all your stuff and everything else.
Thanks for having me on. Really enjoy watching you all talk. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir. That's Taryn Matheru, New York Times best-selling author. Taryn Matheru. Go check out his work. These pictures that Real says are eclipses. To me, it looks more like a portal, my brother, on the top than an eclipse. But I understand why people would say that you could see the eclipse, because there is that right there.
Area code 401. What's going on?
Hi. I didn't know if it's a good time to call in or not.
It's always a good time to call in. Calling it. But turn your radio down in the background.
Sorry. I didn't even know I was on yet.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's good.
It's Julie?
It's Julie Barbara.
What's up, Julie?
And
What's up, Julie?
Hi. So I just wanted to bring up my theory that I discussed on Real's live stream last night with Tony, if that's okay, regarding Camden, Maine. So a lot of people have been guessing that Tabitha is in Camden, Maine, based on the image that everybody was Google image searching, and a lot of people have been throwing around Camden, Maine. Now, I didn't even need to Google search it. I know that view, but anyway, just to start off, I think Tabitha is definitely there for Rio. Now, why do I think that? The season 3 description says the residents will be tantalized by the very real possibility of escape. How would they suddenly feel this hopeful unless they learn Tabitha got out? So first of all, I believe Jim will get a phone call from a voice like the one from the radio that taunted him about his wife getting out. That's going to taunt him about his wife getting out. Your wife shouldn't have left, Jim, as Jeremy says. But that's going to be hard for people to believe. So they're going to need some more proof, I think. Now, I've always been convinced that Tabitha is in Camden. And the reason why I recognize the view from her hospital window is from my hikes there. in 2017, excuse me, in 2021. I fell in love with that view. I spent hours staring at it. And yeah, I believe that that is it. Now, the new ambulance says Knox County on it. Knox County, there are 9 of them in the US, and Camden, Maine is in one of them. I think that is too much of a coincidence. So combined with all of these clues, I think Tabitha will most likely be in Camden within Knox County, and the ambulance will also be from Knox County. We've seen other weird coincidences like Marielle's bus showing up here while Christie's here. So it's kind of going to be, I think, another mind fuck like that. And this should be how everyone finds out for sure Tabitha escaped. Now, there's
you also saw that patch, right? The cop patch, which I thought was Batman genius level detective work on your part. The patch thing was pretty cool.
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate it. As always, I appreciate the kind words. I think that now we have a new cop character on the show. Her name is Acosta. A cop would definitely have talked to Tabitha after she just turned up laying on a hiking trail after being reported missing for so long. I mean, in the world of the show, it's actually not that long, but still, she's reported missing. And so I think Acosta is going to be the one who spoke to Tabitha, and she'll be able to tell everyone that she met Tabitha. This is how everyone will know for sure that she escaped, and that this mindfuck phone call that I think Jim is going to get is legit. So that is my theory on that.
I think it's a beautiful theory that actually inspired my theory that I just put out there today. It's a little different than your theory and everything else. So on mine that I said it to you last night, actually, when I made it up on the air when you were there live and stuff last night on Reel's channel and stuff. So I believe that when you look at people who are missing, people who are always missing, number one thing is they're going to get interrogated by police officers because you've been missing a long time. Now you're showing up here without your family. I think that when she goes inside of Victor's father's house, I think when she's in the basement, he's going to call the cops on her. Now she'll be known as a escaped hospital person. They'll bag her up, think she's crazy. They're going to throw her with that cop inside of the ambulance. And when they're driving in that ambulance dude is going to see the tree. And then he's going to get sucked in. And that's how they get sucked in. That's how she gets sent back. And that's how she's there. I think it'll go down like that she's in there. She gets sucked back. They bring her back in there. And that's how she arrives back and from. Because there's no reason to have a cop in the ambulance unless there's somebody that you're transporting that is a prisoner that you have to transport.
Yeah, I think so. I believe that. I don't know about the theory about Tabitha. However, I definitely rock with what you say about the ambulance coming in, because there will be some actual useful stuff out of that ambulance probably that they can use. I remember Taryn is who actually caught the patch clue, and he also said that there could be some medical supplies that they use in order to facilitate the birth situation with Fatima. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that whole theory is jam-packed and it's real dope. I think that y'all really did y'all thing on that. Julie and Taryn put that together, and they were definitely cooking in the Discord when that went down for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Taryn, like I explained, like I spent hours kind of diving down this rabbit hole, and I explained it to Taryn, and then he looked up, the town crest of Camden, Maine, and he found the boat. There's a boat on it, and there's also a boat on the officers. You can't make it out very clearly, but it does look like there's a boat on Acosta's jacket. So yeah, Taryn got the boat part, and then just putting it together with everything else that I was theorizing, it just came together. It just fits, right? I mean, I'm 100% convinced now that this is what's going to happen. She's really in Camden. We've all been wondering, like, where the hell is she? And I think this is it. I think this is it. I mean, what are the odds, right? That it would be, like a Knox County ambulance coming in. It looks like Camden, Maine, and Camden, Maine is in Knox County.
What we need is a Stephen King cameo. Like, he needs to be in the hospital just to bring the whole Maine thing together. I mean, we know he's a fan of the show. We need a Stephen King cameo in the hospital.
That.
Like a Stan Lee kind of cameo where he's like, "Oh, you're in Maine. Welcome to Maine." It's Stephen King.
Erie's right down the street.
Exactly.
I agree. They're definitely in Maine. They're definitely in Maine. I don't think that's up for debate. I think it's just too many things fit there for it to be debatable anymore. They definitely were there. They definitely were there.
Right.
Now now we have your theory with the phone call and the cop going there without Tabitha. We have my theory with Tabitha being inside the ambulance with the cops. I think both are very plausible. We'll just have to wait for the show to find out.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it could go either way. I think your theory, Tony, your version of it, like, it could play out that way too. But either way, I think it confirms Tabitha is in Camden, and that ambulance is too, because that just is too much of a coincidence for sure. So yeah, I was psyched about that. I very much enjoy, theory crafting, and I spent all night just working on this one night, and yeah.
You've been killing it lately, Julie.
I enjoy it.
You hit the ground running, and I've been killing it with the theories lately, and it's very impressive.
No doubt about it. Well, thank you. We got another call, Kendall. We love you. Thank you, and I hope you guys do that women's stream out. I'll be there with bells on, ready to watch it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm hoping I can get a channel started soon. I really want to do that. So thank you so much for taking my call. I appreciate it.
No, the pleasure is all ours, babe.
And with that,
All right.
I'm going to have to bow out as well myself. I have another engagement in a few minutes, but I want to thank you so much, Tony, for throwing this awesome panel together and bringing these awesome content creators together and the awesome chat together. These are always incredibly fun discussions. I love talking from, and bring on season 3.
That's so, Jeremy. Thank you for rocking. Please put Jeremy's link in the chat, my mods, and people go out there, subscribe to Jeremy's channel. He's doing from videos and other videos and stuff like that. He's got his own Discord and everything else. Everybody support everybody that's rocking with us today.
Yes, indeed. And I'm enjoying all the theories. I thought that it was real dope how they put that together. And this has been an awesome stream for me as well. I gotta go as well, but I will definitely be looking forward to this next one. I think that the content creators of From should definitely stick together, because this show is about to blow up, and the big content creators are really gonna come and like swoop in and take all the shine. But I think if we stay on it, stick together, that's something that the big content creators don't do, which is the live streams and shit. So I think that we got a winner with this.
That's what's up. Thanks for rocking, man. Appreciate it.
Indeed. Peace.
All right, we still, and there was 4. And the chat, and we still got the chat. All right, Phil, hold it down. Y'all cool with chilling for at least a half an hour more?
I got a little bit. I got a little bit left.
All right, we got a little bit left. We'll keep going. You got more calls coming in, Phil? We'll take the calls.
Yeah, we get some more calls. That some people that just called. I missed your call, 708, and I think what's 323. Definitely call back, and we'll get you back on in a second. Oh yeah, I guess that didn't take long. Area code 708. Welcome to the show. What's your question, comment, and who are you? Damn it.
Hey, it's Chicago-made gaming and media, Jackson Rings.
Welcome to the show, my friend.
Hey, what's going on? I have a couple of things I wanted to say. I don't know if I'm excellent, but so I think first of all that this could be the origin story, and to show us where the humans originally come from. Now it's so this is going by the rules of infinity. So there's going to be 2 different explanations, 2 versions explained in 3 different ways. So you have the rule of 1, which is individuality, the rule of 2, which is polar opposites, and the rule of 3, which is the Trinity. Now, everybody in Frumville is an archetype of 3 different people. Now, it's if you look at the symbol of the talisman, it has a Hebrew, and it has a Greek, and the other one, I want to say it's Sumerian, but I'm not 100% sure. It's all mixed in, intertwined, because it all starts in the Garden of Eden. Now, originally, the Garden of Eden in Catholicism is, Adam and Eve and the serpent and etc. When it comes to the Hebrew legend, you have Yahweh, which is the one who came and wanted to stop everything that was going on. He was allegedly your evil God at the time, and caused the whole Israelites and all that thing to happen with that. In Greek mythology, they have it's not really a garden, it's a little different, but the Greek mythology spins off into Sumerian, into Egyptian spins to Sumerian, and then they bring on the Anunnaki. Now the Anunnaki means those who derive from heaven. So when Anunnaki came down, which is Anu, who's the king of Nibiru, who came down here and sent his 3 sons. That's where the Trinity comes from.
This is some Dan Aykroyd stuff.
Excuse me?
Oh no, it reminds me of like the Dan Aykroyd Ghostbusters stuff, like the Sumerian gods and all that kind of stuff.
I'm with the Anunnaki. I'm with anything.
Right. But they all intertwine to each other because they're all aliens, so Tony doesn't have to trip. And the thing is, they all intertwine with mythology because they're all the same people based on different mythologies. So in Hebrew mythology, for example, you have Lilith. Okay, Lilith is actually an entry, which is a female vampire. Okay, then you have the Nephilim. I'm going to see if I could just name people that you guys may be familiar with. The Beast of Revelation, succubuses and incubuses, Behemoth, Leviathan, the Witch of Endor. Those are all different types of Hebrew and Jewish mythology creatures. Okay,
and
now when
Star
you
Wars.
intertwine them, let's say, for example, let's take Anu. Anu is the king of the Nibiru, who is also Zeus. Okay, Hades is actually Enlil, which is actually Amun-Ra in Egyptian culture. And Thoth is a better example because Thoth is actually Nigashina in Sumerian. He's actually Quetzalcoatl in Mesopotamian. He's also Christ in Catholicism. He's Hermes in North mythology. I mean, in Greek mythology, and in North mythology, he's Odin. So these characters are all the same people. The mythologies are all based on the Sumerian Anunnaki who allegedly came here. Now, there's not too many themes besides the creatures. Like, okay, let me give you an example of the nightmare creatures. Everything, because you guys were talking about the forest. The forest is not a nightmare from people's consciousness or subconsciousness. The forest is like in the middle, where it has all the creatures from all the mythologies. Okay, you're going to see a little bit. So when Terrence says there's going to be a Bigfoot, and in the water they have the giant squid, that could be Cthulhu, also known as Leviathan. So there's so many, and Cthulhu's like H.P. Lovecraft, but he has an added into, but he would be the one in the water along with Leviathan and.
All right, we got. I appreciate it. We're gonna try to go through. We got other people calling. This is a huge theory you're talking about here. I mean, I can't get with the Bigfoot stuff. I don't see Bigfoot here, but the other stuff, the Anunnaki, as someone says, Anunnaki does sound like Anakui. That does sound familiar. So maybe you're definitely onto something. I definitely call back when we have more time to discuss everything that you're saying, because you're throwing so much at us. It's too much for me to respond to. I can't remember it all.
Well, I understand that, but there's so much that you wouldn't have to just give feedback. I just wanted to give you my kind of like take on everything, because everybody's correct. Like Percy was right. Not everybody understands what Percy's saying. Everybody's right in their own way. They're being explained 3 different ways. So you're getting the explanation. Everything is being explained in 3 different ways. So the origin story is our human, where we come from, where the people in Newfoundland came from, and the indigenous people who came from the earth. I mean, from the United States. Like indigenous, like the Wendigo. You ever heard of a Wendigo? The Wendigo, once you start cannibalism, it's an indigenous curse that once you eat a human being, you become a Wendigo. and the nightmare creatures are a combination of the Wendigo, the Fae, and a troll.
Okay. All right, man.
For every monster. Okay, but go ahead. I'll see if I can call back whenever everybody gets a chance. You guys are still on.
Definitely. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. All right.
Now we have the voice of 916. Voice
My
of
head
916.
hurt. My head hurt.
I promise this will make your head feel better. Welcome to the
Listen,
show.
I've actually studied these things. Like I did religious studies, so I knew a lot of the things that he was talking about. I just don't know if we were still talking about from. I'm like, I'm with you with the Nephilim. I'm with you with the Jewish. I'm with you on all of that. I need.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah,
Is
like
the boy in white Jesus. Like, what are we saying?
That some people have said that. I think to me, and I say it all the time to people, that when you deal with a television show, it has to be something that everybody will get. So all that stuff you say is great, but the people who write a television show, everyone has to pick up on it. If you're the only one who's picked up on it, it ain't working.
Or it's bad writing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that sentiment, and that's one of the reasons why I like to. I know we deal with weird stuff with this show, but I try to still follow.
9916.
What is the simplest answer? Even if it's weird.
1 second.
What is the simplest way?
You're correct.
Is it aliens? Is it time travel? Is it witches? Is it like
it's the Arkham Asylum razor thing? And I know I said
that's what I'm saying. Like it can't be everything because nobody's gonna understand it.
Exactly.
It's gotta be something.
That's right. All right. You're in for a treat, Emmanuel and Anthony. You're about to hear the voice of 916. Go ahead, my lady.
Hello, everyone. This is the voice at 916.
So happy to hear from you.
Oh, hello. I didn't have a theory or any idea to project. I just wanted to give my thanks for all my favorites coming together and, and just talking to the community. We love this. If Jeremy is listening, this includes you. If Reels is listening, this includes you as well. Thank you so much. This is so much fun. So much fun.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for the love, and thank you for always supporting the channel and supporting everybody's channel.
Yes, I do. But there is one thing I would like to say before I go is this does invite a lot of theory, a lot of thoughts, a lot of mythologies, but it can't be all these things. You have to hone this in a little bit to make it cohesive and make it make sense to us.
I agree 100%.
Absolutely. That's kind of what we were just saying. Yeah, it has to be ultimately something that's palatable for an audience. It's fun to break this stuff down, but usually shows end up being something a little bit more cut and dry. And especially a show like this, I think, is trying to go to a wider base of an audience. I think the ending isn't going to be convoluted to what Movie Blog was saying earlier with Lost. Like this ending is going to be very, I think, just something solid. Like it's going to have a solid ending of some sort, wherever it ends up.
Completely agree. Well, anyway, gentlemen, it was good being able to call in and say hello. And as always, all of y'all stay sexy. Bye-bye.
And you too, my lady. You too. It's a very good tweet what she calls it.
The phone lines are off the hook. We got another call. Erica 305. Welcome to the show, 305.
So what's up? How y'all doing?
Doing good. We good. Who we speaking to?
All right, this Amra.
All right.
I'm gonna be quick and simple, man. I don't want to drag it out. I'm just gonna say basic things that I think was going to happen as far as I think this season is going to dive into the history of, how Trump came about. I really believe they're going to try to give us, some details on how this place even began.
Yeah.
And I also think that they're going to give us some more history on Victor, because I just don't understand nothing about this guy.
You're not the only one. You're not the only one.
Right. Okay, so that's really what I just wanted to say. And this is a nice live stream. It's very entertaining. All you guys coming together, Other than that, I'm simple with it. I really believe that, and also I believe they're going to bring the scary back. They're going to have to bring the fear back because they kind of lost me with the second season.
I agree with you on that.
I'm with you.
They got to make these.
I'm gonna drop the line. Let somebody else get on it.
Thank you for a call. We truly appreciate it. We go Anthony E. Man. Do you think that they need they did water down the monsters last season?
Yeah.
Right. You had the whole Ellis escape, and the guys are right next to him, smiling at him.
Yeah, it was almost slow motion, Tony.
Yeah, then he goes in there, then Fatima screaming in the window. Do you think that that's what they're trying to do? They're trying to elevate the monsters back to a point of where you need to be scared. Not I mean, that happened in The Walking Dead with the zombies.
1 second, caller. We'll get to you in a moment.
They became comical almost. Do you think that they're trying to rebound from that?
I think, the monsters never really stopped being scary. I just think that in season 2, they started to introduce more threats that kind of took our attention away from the monsters as much. Like season 1, it was just nothing but them terrorizing people. We had, of course, what happened at the Colony House massacre. But season 2 is when we started seeing worms. We started seeing cicada monsters. We started seeing zombie Fatima drowning people in your sleep. It's like, with all this stuff going on, it does, they didn't stop, being a threat. It's just, we've got to worry about a lot of other things now too. Plus, at that night when that happened, Ellis got stabbed, right? Like Ellis got stabbed. Like my man was on his last legs. If they didn't get him to Christie as quickly as possible, it's just, they took our attention away from it.
E-Man, what do you think?
I think that this was more so a writer's decision to dig deeper into the characters and focus on them. I mean, think about it. Season 1 ended with a whole bunch of new characters coming in. So they needed time to dig into the new characters. Who are they? What are they all about? You saw more dynamics of relationships being explored. I mean, obviously, you're always going to have a monster or an entity be present. That's kind of why we're here. But I think this was just the creators being like, wait a minute, let's actually talk about these characters. And if you think about it in the long run, that's probably a better way to set us up so that we can connect with them. They're not expendable, and we'll actually care if they die or if they survive. I mean, at this point, if you would have told me in season 2 Randall was gonna die in 2 episodes, I'd have been like, good. Yeah. Now I'm kind of like, man, I'm kind of rooting for bro now, just a little bit.
Let's see if he survives.
So they have to take their time to build up the characters so we care, and then bring on the scary.
All right.
Area code 323. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
Going well. What's your question? Who is this?
Hey, this is Kevin from New York. Really, firstly, glad to that you guys are doing this. But it's not really a question because we've already talked about this a little in the show, specifically the competing forces that exist. And I wanted to, not trying to force this idea of good or evil, but when rewatching the show, I saw that the boy in white, right? Everybody's trying to figure out if he's good or bad. He keeps inserting himself in the specific places where, like, when Elgin was talking about where he heard in his dream, he saw the boy in white talk about the music that helped kill, the box or whatever. So I was just wondering what you all thought or what your opinions are on if these forces, are they competing with each other? Even like, for example, when they were in the second last episode, when they were in the van, how like the other zombies, or like the other like white walkers or whatever, stopped and let this other entity come in. So I'm just trying to understand, one, is there a hierarchy of like more evil or less evil? And then 2, are they competing against each other? Because the boy in white seems like he's working against this other big, thing or whatever. So just wanted to understand what y'all thought of that.
Great
question.
question.
Be surprised. You know, this is from the makers of Lost, and they did create the smoke monster. And what was the other competing being in that one? Did they give him a nickname?
Jacob. It was like Jacob and the Man in Black. If we're talking about the Boy in White, and Tony's mentioned this before. Oh God, I'm sorry, smoking, forgetting what I'm talking about necessarily. But someone else go. I'll catch up to my thought.
Yeah, what do you think about that? E competing.
No, I agree. I do think that there are competing entities now. Whether these entities are equal, I think that's another thing to, you know, I think that's what we have to find out. So, you know, I haven't finished Lost. I tried it; it was too long. But if this was like a good versus evil, then, you know, okay, I guess I could see that, you know, chess game being played out. But right now, based off of what I've seen, this entity, this place, this environment definitely is evil because it gets its kicks out of seeing people suffer and die, and the monsters seem in tune with the place as well. And I do think the Boy in White, again, I don't know if he's like as good as the place is as bad, because I haven't seen the Boy in White demonstrate like the same level of control or ability that this entity has. The entity is able to, you know, provide food and take food away and control the weather. The Boy in White is just like, go over there, now go over here, don't make that person mad. Like, that's all he does. So I do think that there are dueling forces, but I don't know if it's like equal in that aspect. And I do believe there is a hierarchy. I don't think that I don't know if somebody said it in the show, or maybe I just said it and I'm believing my own words, but I do believe like the last cicada monster was like an apex predator. Like, it was just something that was higher than the lower monsters. And the lower monsters was like, no, we're good. I mean, we see this in the wild, right? Like, hyenas will wait for lions to finish eating, and then they'll go and get the scraps later, you know? So that's the way I viewed it.
And Tony, what I was talking about, what you've mentioned before with Sarah, with them telling him to kill the boy, and the confusion with Sarah thinking it's Ethan, but actually talking about killing the Boy in White. I think that's a good example of how we know that there's opposing forces going on there. There's something that wants to kill the Boy in White because that releases, or at least the way I think about it, and I think the way you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that killing the boy might be the key to letting everybody out of here in some ways.
Yeah, the creatures that talk to Sarah are not the people who are running this show. She has said specifically that these creatures are being held captive just like they are, and that they want to go home also. And they said to her that the reason how they can all get home was to kill the boy. At that time, she looked and seen Ethan there. But I don't believe it's that boy. I think it's the Boy in White that she needs to kill. I don't think you can kill him personally. I do think you have to kill Victor, who is the grown man who is portraying to be the Boy in White. I think that's how it goes down. But
didn't you just say that you didn't believe that he was a boy because Sarah said
he's not? That's why I said that it's Victor.
So you think that Sarah needs to kill Victor?
I think Victor has to die for everybody to go home. I think it's Victor. Victor is the key. It's Victor that has to die in the end. It's just all got to do with him, his family, and everything else. Victor is the one who must die for everybody to go home when this is all said and done.
Then why didn't she get instructions to kill Victor all this time?
She got, well, the instructions she's got now, number one, she's the first person that they can ever talk to, right? Okay. I do believe these are the same people that play the jukebox every time. Okay. Again, they're being held hostage there and stuff like that. That's what she said, that they want to go home too. I believe that these are aliens that have been captured by humans, and they're being experimented on using their technology, and that's why all these people are in there. And that's why this is all going down, and they just want to go home too. So she was told to kill the boy. Again, in the first season, Victor was not on the main cast. He didn't get put on the main cast till the second season. So you wouldn't say that in the first season to kill Victor unless he was going to get put on the main cast, right? So that is that. So I think that's what it is. It says kill the boy. She looks up, she sees Ethan. She thinks that's what it is, but I really believe that it's kill the boy means to kill the boy in white. That's who has to die. Is the boy in white, and I think the boy in white is a manifestation of Victor. That's why you see that picture of the older man inside the exact same clothes as the boy in white. There's no reason to put a grown-ass man in them clothes. He ain't playing tennis. He ain't out there on the court. So that's what I believe when it goes down with Victor and all that. I think that we have a guy, it's one of your channels, Papa Socks. Y'all familiar with him? Papa Socks. Papa Socks. I think he's one of your channels. He's left a lot of super chats. He says, "So panel, if Tabitha isn't in the ambulance and comes back another way, what one necessary thing? If Tabitha isn't in the ambulance, what necessary thing does she return with? I mean, I don't know how to take that. I think that it would be more of a knowledge type situation unless she comes back with Victor's father or Victor's sister. So panel, if it isn't Victor's dad, what could he reveal that would be what moment of the season for you?
Simple. He could reveal that he's Eloise's husband, right? Like if we find out that Eloise survived and made it into the glass tree and got pushed out the lighthouse, maybe she grew up, because if she's like the same age as Victor, she'd be a grown woman too. That could be her husband.
He's the actor who plays that role that I'm saying is Victor's father, 72 years old.
Okay.
It's like
Victor's like 50.
Huh?
Victor's like 50.
Victor's 51. So he's 72. So Eloise, I would say, is a little younger than Victor. Listen, I've seen guys pimp it like that 20 years.
I mean, listen, 16 years old, 16.
The thing that makes it to me not believe that it's her boyfriend is definitely the father. I'm sure y'all you're married man. I don't know. You're a married man too. You're both married men. And before that, I've never been to a woman's house or any house, family house, where they've had pictures of their spouse as a baby on the wall in a collage. Never been it. I've seen when you have kids, you have pictures of your kids as a collage on the wall in the house, but I've never seen someone have their spouse's pictures as a collage on the wall when they were kids on there. Never seen that in my life.
That's shit for a grandmother's house.
Yeah, so that's the main thing that makes me think that that's Victor's father, the age and the fact that he has pictures of those kids like they're his kids on the wall. It's definitely Eloise, same sweater right in the middle. We know that's her. So I just don't see Eloise's husband have a picture of his wife as a kid with her brother collaged on the wall like that. Usually that's for parents who do that stuff.
And as for what he could offer that could be like, what the fuck moments, I think any information really, when it really comes down to it, regardless of who he is, and I tend to agree with everything you guys were saying, but it's really what he says and what he knows. Is he going to be somebody that brings in more information about what the hell is going on and any connection to how to go in and out of this place or what the hell's happening? And I think that's what I want from him as a character, not that I'm projecting all that meaning on this particular character, but that's what I want from the show. So I'm thinking, this is a new entity. Maybe he will bring that information in that I want.
I figure just bringing it to the basement is, great.
Yeah, that
who knows what other crazy stuff is in that basement. So mission fulfilled. Thank you.
That's right. We'll take this last question and we'll get up out of here. I know they got to go. Papa Sock says, final question, panel. What type of monster that we haven't seen would you really get you guys excited for the show? What would you like to see if you could see? Yeah. That's just an open question. A unicorn?
Molly to come back.
I mean, I think we get giant spiders. We've heard too much about them not to have a giant spider.
But Tony, we were crying about that for Game of Thrones for years.
Yeah, we never got
the spiders. Maybe it's just our
plight
to never get the damn spiders,
Yeah, exactly.
I want to see the monsters from the drawings. Okay. So in the opening, you see a lot of all black draped looking monsters, and I'm like, what's that? Because clearly those don't look like the monsters that we're used to. So I'm like, what is this? Who are these things? What's going on? So I'd like to see more of the things from the drawings.
All right.
I want to see the flood.
I don't know how I feel about the flood. Like, what do you do? Like, just get on the roof.
That's
I mean,
it's like Tremors. They're all just taking on
Yeah,
the
that's what they're doing on the picture. They're on that roof.
You scared of some water? Like, grab a raft. I don't know.
I want to see the rest of the map. Like, if this is like a video game, like we've seen certain places and we've only seen them once, right? Like we've seen the Brundles. Like there's a whole pool where they go swimming. We've seen where Boyd took Sarah out, like that little cabin out there. And we've seen another place when Victor showed us like a whole car graveyard that somehow went over our heads for 2 seasons. So like at this point, like we're starting to grow out in the map. Like we're starting to light things up. Now we're starting to put things together where everything is. I want to see more of the map.
All right, real quick before I know I let you go, but we didn't talk about this, so let's do it really fast. We see the cabins in the picture. We know they're in the promo photos and stuff. Do you think that there's another group of people living in these cabins that are humans, monsters, or do you think that, I mean, it's in the promo photo, so it has to mean something big that's going to go on with those cabins? You have any thoughts of the cabins?
I hope so. I certainly hope so. Like, I remember the moment we saw the car graveyard, the first thing I was hoping for was that there's more villages or towns out there, because they just don't go traveling, right? They don't really explore that much, except for when Boyd and Sarah finally did it for the first time. So, like, I'm really hoping that when they start illuminating up this map, they're going to go and we'll find out, like, maybe they did go to other countries. Like, maybe there's a whole town that looks like something out of Japan. Maybe there's something that looks like something out of, South Asia. We'll start seeing all those different parts of the world represented in this sick experiment.
I think we have to see others. I want to see other people living out there, and that's a great point about the map. It's like if like Zelda or something, we've only unlocked a couple of the towers. We haven't unlocked the whole section of the map yet. And I do think this place has sort of an expanded feeling, and I think that's what Boyd and Sarah were attempting to do, to sort of see how far out they could get, but they were eventually stopped. And how much of it is moving, how much of it is stationary, or is there a way to find your way around? So that stuff's all
the waterboard on Majora's Mask is in fucking possible.
Horrible, dude.
Hate that fucking
horrible.
Even go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm with that. I definitely want to. I would like to believe that this is not the only place. I mean, I want to say it was somewhere in season 1. Somebody said that other people had left the town and started, building little huts or whatever around. So it would not surprise me at, going all the way back from 1864, other people have gone out and, expanded, maybe made little mini towns, or something. So I'd like to see that it was just other residents, and see, did they survive? How did they survive? How did they live? I'd be interested in seeing that.
You thank you for the super chat, Cheryl Washington. I said always go back to Walking Dead. You think the zombies are the enemies, but in the end, the bigger enemies turn out to be the humans. I think that's what we're going to see this season with these people. We see a bear trap, and we see that it's Christie's foot that gets stuck in the bear trap. I think those are the other people that are out there. I think they go out there searching for food, and they may find some, but may find some that belong to some other motherfuckers and get bagged up from it when it's all said and done. I think it's a good chance that could happen. Just one other super chat I could just say. He says, Phil playing Zelda gave me the chills. Feels like it took me back. Thanks, you makes you feel real good. Who doesn't love Zelda? Thank you, Fernandez T. All right, before we got here, E-Man, Anthony, what do you got coming on your channel? If y'all can please put their links and Fill the Issues guys link. I think you already got them. Put it in there anyway. So you guys can go subscribe to their channels. But E-Man, we got coming up.
Yeah. Listen, every from Related first, I'll of course be breaking down all the episodes. I will before the season comes out, I do plan on dropping a couple theory videos. I will talk about what I think is really going on with the 2-car theory. I'll talk about some other things that I've noticed on the 5th rewatch of season 1 and 2. So I'll drop some more things on there. So you definitely want to check that out. And then of course we'll be breaking down every episode as they come out as well. And if you just want to kick it on Fridays, we do a live show 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We talk about all the news from out the week in the entertainment world, and I'll give you my fun little commentary along the way.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Thank you for joining us, Anthony. The
7 p.m. Central. That's 8 p.m. for us New Yorkers. I'm always got to remind everybody it's East Coast time.
That's right.
For me, of course, I'm going to be getting back into doing my deep dives on From. I'm going to start doing lives. I'm going to do my lives on Monday nights. It wasn't something I really did a lot last season, but it is something I'm going to try to get into, try to just be time efficient. I have a lot of different things. Some things I can talk about, some things I can't. I think I can talk about Terminator Zero. That's something that I'm going to be working on. I've already started working on that. So I'm going to have some stuff coming out for that leading up to this premiere this Friday. I have something else I have in the wings that I definitely can't talk about, but it is something that's highly anticipated. So I'm going to try to. I know. Well, this is why I'm going to be doing my live, is because I'm working on so many different things. I'm really going to have to try to get out as much content as quickly as I can. So it is something I'm going to be doing. Monday nights, I'm going to be going live. I'm going to start talking about movie news. I'm going to start talking about some of these special projects that I'm working on. And of course, I'm going to be talking about From, that supplement everything we talk about in the deep dives or the theories and hearing what everybody else thinks.
That's what's up. Phil's rocking with me. So, I mean, you know, we're going to be doing, we're going to be covering the new Dexter season that will drop. We'll be doing that without a shadow of a doubt. Both new seasons of Drexel, both shows. We'll cover both.
I am so hoping both of them end horribly, so they keep this up. They have to keep this up. You can't just not keep ending the crap horribly. That wouldn't make sense.
End terrible.
They have to end terribly.
You got anything else coming out with personally? And thank you, LG Gaming, for becoming a new member. Appreciate that.
Got a Sopranos stream coming up soon for season 5 premiere, and then Joe and I have a catch-up stream that we're doing once he gets through a bunch of his stuff. And I'll be doing random From streams throughout the season, or random rants and such, and some more shows coming up soon. A lot more shows coming up, and because no one wants to hear it, I want to do some more Star Trek stuff, and I do want to do a video somewhere in this season doing some sort of, or a live stream talking about some of the comparisons between Lost and From, because there are some that exist, even if it's not dependent on where the show ends. Just silly things like the dog, like, or the hint of a boat showing up with Walt on it to go, hey Michael, come on, hey Dad, I'm saving you from this place. But anyways, lots of fun. But I'll be on with Tony all season, obviously, for
and we're gonna have other streams. We're gonna do the top 10 TV shows that got canceled before they should have got canceled. We'll be doing top.
We got to do our candy stream too.
Yeah, we're gonna do the candy stream. We're gonna do top 10 candies of all time. We'll do the top 10 movies of all time. Of 3 movies, of trilogies, top 10 trilogies of all time. We'll be doing streams like that. Y'all are welcome if you ever want to talk about stuff. And again, comic books is my thing. As I said, I played Marvel Superheroes, the role-playing game, for 7 years of my life when I was a child. So I know all that Marvel stuff and all that thing, and that was a great time in my life. That was a greght time in my life. All right, but thank y'all for rocking with us. If you like the way we do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is.